Hi guys, this is GSMDome and I'm here with a flagship, an unusual one, the Motorola Edge 50 Ultra. It's the very first phone that we test with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 inside, and finally with a charger, which charges the phone very fast, and some changes for the Ready For solution, which has become now, well, basically Smart Connect. This is what the handset looks like, and finally we get a Motorola phone with a periscope camera at the back side. And a beautiful design. Too bad we don't have the version of the Motorola Edge 50 Ultra, which has a wood back. It's actual wood, that one. This one is leather imitation. The price is 999 euros in Europe, and it's time for an unboxing of the black version. Okay, so since it's an unboxing, let's see what's inside the box. We start off with the plastic-free recyclable label, which means Moto is committed once again to its, well, legacy and sustainability. Okay, we go here, and we have here the following things. So we have the README manual and also this extra juridic info and security and all that. We also have the key used to access the slots, no micro SD, just so you know, and the case, which is pretty much a bumper case, which is somewhere between matte and transparent. Okay, there's a very strong perfume in the box. I can feel it already. It's made with a collaboration between Motorola and Firmenich. And here we have the charger, which is quite hefty, has an USB-C connector, and it has here inscripted 125 watts. I'm expecting a charge in below 30 minutes. And a cable, USB-C to USB-C, quite long, I have to say, and a bit thick in order to accommodate the very fast charging. And I'm having trouble putting it back in here. Okay. Now back to the actual phone. We have things to talk about. So this is the handset, and one of the things that people want to learn about it is the SAR value. Trying to find out how the radiation is, how much radiation they're getting for the body, for the limbs, for the head. Okay, one way to do this is to actually go here and type in a code, something like this. It's actually star hashtag 07 hashtag, and this is what you're getting: 1.23 watts per kilogram for the head, 1.37 watts per kilogram for body, 2.92 watts per kilogram for the limbs, which should be within the normal limits. Now I think it's that part of the unboxing where we address the, well, design. And we're getting here an aluminum frame, which helps to grip the phone, and it measures 8.6 millimeters in thickness, which is quite decent, weighs 197 grams, and it doesn't protrude in spite of having a periscope camera. It should have a wooden back, but we have the leather imitation backside. We have IP60 certification. It can be dunked up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Okay, now aside from that, the camera design feels a bit like OnePlus. If you see in the latest OnePlus 11 and 12, it's pretty much similar in the way it goes towards the frame, although it's not curved. It's, well, a bit more squared with rounded corners. Aside from that, I have to say it's one of the easiest to handle flagships on account of the grip, aided by the texture at the backside and the metal frame. Now, aside from that, aside from being grippy, it's very well built and looks premium. If you look at the curved screen at the front, there's a problem with the curved screen. It may look premium, but it's not very comfy when you're doing some gaming. Now, speaking of the screen and other such things, it's the classic Motorola Plastic OLED POLED 6.7 inch with a resolution which is closer to Full HD rather than Quad HD. There's Gorilla Glass Victus protection. It shows 1 billion colors and has a 144 Hz refresh rate, which is very adept when it comes to gaming. There's HDR10 Plus support. There's also 2500 nits of brightness and very narrow bezels, 92.1% screen to body ratio. Now, if you go inside the phone, we're treated to something new finally after so many usual CPUs. This is the brand new Qualcomm Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. 4 nanometer. It actually reminds me of the time when we had the Snapdragon 870 as I would say lower version of the Snapdragon 888. This is basically it, and you can find it on a Poco F6, you can find it on the Honor 200 Pro, you can find it on the Realme GT Neo 6. But check out the other resources. We're treated here to 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of UFS 4.0 storage. No micro SD, also no audio jack, keeping it slim, but we do have Dolby Atmos speakers, this one at the top and this one at the bottom. And there are stereo speakers here, which you can actually tweak from a dedicated app. So you go here, 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 and here. There's Dolby Atmos. These are the settings. We have spatial audio and a few profiles, plus the custom area where you can play with the equalizer. Treble, bass boost, surround, virtualizer, and more. Okay, we've covered the fun part. Let's talk about the others. So the battery we have here on the handset, this one is not a 5000 mAh unit as one would expect. Let's actually find not the network, but rather let's find the battery. Okay, here it is. So the battery is a 4500 mAh unit with very impressive figures. 125 watt wired charging, 50 watts wireless charging, and 10 watts reverse wireless charging. You can juice up headphones and other phones and, well, gadgets in general. Now, aside from the color, I want to make a quick pit stop. We have forest gray, we have Nordic wood, and peach fuzz as color versions of the handset. Getting back to the actual specs, there's a fingerprint scanner in the screen. It's of the optical variety and you can use it to unlock the phone, of course. Now, when it comes to connectivity, we'll treat it to ultra-wideband, Wi-Fi 7 and 5G, which are all flagship attributes, but the handset also delivers things like Bluetooth 5.4, GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, BDS, Navic and NFC. The USB port is rather interesting. It's USB-C 3.1 generation 2 with OTG support and DisplayPort 1.4. Now I think it's time we can discuss the camera. Okay, so on the camera front, we have here cut in the screen an impressive 50 megapixel shooter with 4K 60 frames per second filming and also autofocus, which is very nice to have on a front camera if you're a vlogger. At the backside, things are happening. So a main 50 megapixel sensor with f1.6 aperture and multi-directional phase detection autofocus. It has a laser focus mechanism here. It has PDAF and also optical image stabilization. This one is the 64 megapixel telephoto periscope camera with f2.4 aperture, stabilization of the optical variety and phase detection autofocus plus 3x optical zoom, which is the kicker. And finally, a 50 megapixel camera again, ultra wide, 122 degrees, autofocus for macro and f2.0 aperture. And the dual LED flash here for good measure. And I feel this is a microphone hole. We have 10-bit HDR10 plus filming here, but no 8K, just in case you're wondering. And the camera interface includes basic options from Motorola, like you'll see here. There's ultra resolution, there's tilt shift, spot color, photo and video, panorama, photo booth, as well as time-lapse, spot color, dual capture long exposure and dual capture again for video. You can scan documents with this feature here, with auto capture or not. You have a Pro mode, which also leads to taking RAW and JPEG files, and also a portrait mode, which lets you set up the blur level. Okay, and then we have the night vision, plus the regular photo, which has an extra feature here. There's smart high resolution, and this one, basically your color profile, you can choose between natural and auto enhance. In the video department, you have your resolution, which can be 4K or Full HD, and you have your stabilization, which can be set from here, and there's also HDR10+. Stabilization can also have horizon lock, so you can keep the horizon line steady, and you even have a special night vision mode for your filming, which is something you don't see very often, even on flagships. Finally, slow motion tops everything off. That's the camera for you, and I think we've covered all the features related to the hardware. When it comes to the software, it's obviously Android 14. Motorola was a part of Google for a while, and now we have the Motorola Edge 50 Ultra with Android 14 with some customization from Motorola, which basically includes apps. The most important of them all is Moto. This is the Moto app, and it includes personalization options. You can customize the experience here. With the lock screen, you can create stuff with AI, Style Sync or Magic Canvas. You can unlock it with your Moto account. You can customize the lock screen. We have here a bunch of themes. You can customize the fonts. You can play around with icon shapes, as well as colors. And the lock screen, with clock faces and whatnot, just like on iOS. Display size, layout, fingerprint animation, sounds, dark mode, and edge lighting. Then we have the gestures, which can trigger certain features. And finally, Moto Secure, which takes care of security with a secure folder, network protection, phishing detection, and even the pin pad scramble. So you don't have the pin numbers in an order, they're scrambled. Display settings, lock screen, attentive display, and edge lighting are here, plus play, which not only includes Dolby Atmos, but also games. And get this, there's also a special sidebar for your gaming features. And aside from that, there's a creator toolkit, which complements, well, for now, Google Meet app. You can create blur effects, subject tracking, and background replacement, plus a lens switcher, and even a looper. I think this can also be used in other apps. I'm pretty sure they can be used in Zoom, Skype, and whatnot, but for now, only Google Meet. And of course, there's also something new here. It's called the Moto Note. It's a note-taking application in the vein of those offered by Apple or Samsung. You can create optical character recognition. You can include even a summary of the text you're doing, imitating what Galaxy AI is offering. Aside from that, there's also family space, so you can use multiple accounts for your family members. There's the games department and Moto Unplugged, if you want to disconnect from the phone and have an easier life with a simpler interface without being stressed. Of course, one of the core apps and the new apps is Smart Connect, which finally has replaced Ready for. Devices and displays are organized like this. You can either do streaming towards the display and use the trackpad like a mouse, or do this: stream applications, create a mobile desktop, use the phone on a PC, use the phone as a webcam for a PC, transfer files, do a hotspot, lock the PC via the phone, use a smart clipboard, do cross control, basically move the mouse cursor between a tablet, laptop and the phone. And finally, there was one more here, which is, let's see, it's Share Hub. Share Hub, I think it's new. You can access the content via the Share Hub and a tray on this variety of devices. I saw this technology at Mobile World Congress on Motorola and Lenovo devices, and now it has been finalized and it's here. So no more Ready for, we have a new degree of productivity which integrates with Lenovo things much better. This has been the unboxing. This is supposed to be a flagship of the new generation of Motorola. The price is quite okay compared to other flagships. I look forward to see the battery life, how fast the charging is, and how good the periscope camera can deliver what it promises. That's it from GSMDome.com. We'll be back with more pretty soon. Goodbye.